Welcome back to another episode of the Full Circle podcast. I'm Mariah Rose and I'm here with Lexie Brown. Lexie, how you doing?
Hey, everybody. I'm good. We are in Q4 officially of the WNBA season. I think every team has like 9 or 10 games left. We have 9 starting today. We are in Chicago. And yeah, just out here vibing. Guys, I'm still 11 points away from 1,000.
We need Lexie to get her 1,000th point. Like, please.
That was 2 weeks ago, guys. 2 weeks ago. I've gotten 4 straight DNPs. 2 weeks ago, I thought it was a very obtainable goal to get my 11 points, even before like the very end of the season, like the last few games. But now I'm not so sure. But,
well, that's out of your control.
Right. But outside of that, vibes are good. I feel great. I'm healthy. I'm living life still. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I can't believe we're already in Q4. I feel like the season flew by.
I feel like, Q3, we didn't even acknowledge that we were in Q3. So if you guys are not keeping up with the Q1s, we have 44 games. So every 11 games was another quarter. So we didn't really tap in during Q3. For us personally, we had a very rough Q3. So that's probably why we kind of we're like, all right, let's just get to Q4 and figure this out. But there's a lot of teams moving around, up and down, positive, negative. Like this last few weeks of the season, like we said, is going to be so exciting. So where do we want to start first?
Well, we'll set the scene. So obviously, as Lexie so beautifully highlighted by calling it Q4, we have 4 weeks left in the regular season. So the playoff race is tightening. The Lynx have already clinched their playoff spot, which, they have been running through this season with no hurdles. And the real drama is within the 2 to 5 spots and the battle for 6 to 8, with 5 teams fighting for just 3 playoff berths. So to clinch. Okay. I've split the teams. Lexie, I don't know if you like doing it this way. I've split the teams into tiers. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll talk about the first couple of tiers that really are in battle right now. So tier 1, we have the Minnesota Lynx, obviously, clinched the playoffs. They're 3-0 against New York, which is wild. Still doing well without Nafisa Collier. Dejanay is fitting in seamlessly. Lexie, what have been your takeaways with the Lynx? Obviously, I feel like we're saying the same thing about them over and over again. But
yeah, we really don't even have I don't have anything else to add about the Lynx. We all have been watching them dominate this entire season, and their cohesiveness is so hard to defend, and it's hard to scout against because you never know which one of them is going to pop off and go for 30, because that's exactly what they've been doing. K-Mac will go for 30, and then you're like, all right, let's shut down K-Mac. Okay, here come Courtney going for 30. Okay, let's shut down Courtney. Alana Smith gonna wake up one day, go for 30. Bridget Carlton will, hit 5 threes, and you'll look up and be like, when the hell did she get 20 points? It's because she's a knockdown shooter. I think that as good as they're playing, this has been very, very bad for Fee's MVP berth, because we have a lot of players, not a lot, I'll say 2 players creeping up on her in that MVP race. But the way that the Lynx have just been dominant without their best player has been impressive. But I do feel for Fee, because now I'm like, we thought it was a runaway MVP, and it absolutely is not anymore. But like you mentioned, they're 3-0 against the Liberty with their most recent wins, 80-86 and 83-71. They play today actually in New York. Kennedy Burke is back, but Stewie is still out. I predict that, I don't know, it's hard to beat a team 4 times. So just based on the law of averages, the Liberty at home could maybe steal one. But they have 5 losses, the Lynx. They don't lose often, no matter what the law of averages say. So I think this is going to be a really important game for the Liberty. I think the Lynx now, remember last year when the Celtics were so ahead of everybody, they just started doing shit with their lineups and their defenses and their coverages. I can see the Lynx maybe doing something like that, getting all of their bench players ready for the playoffs, throw some new schemes in, maybe run some new offenses that they haven't ran before. They have a whole month to really just get ready for the playoffs because they're going to be the number 1 seed unless something crazy happens, which I don't predict that happening. But they are absolutely going to be the 1 seed. So it's going to be fun to just watch what the Lynx do with this last month of season that really doesn't matter to them at all. But they can do something really special with this record because I can't remember the last team that lost 5 or less games. So we'll see if they can carry that into the postseason.
Speaking of the Liberty, Stewie is practicing, but she's still listed as out. They're targeting a return before August 27th. We talked about Emma coming to the Liberty and how awesome that is and how, oh my God, this great team is just getting greater. Lucky for them. Thank God she's stepping up big, keeping them afloat. Their recent wins have only been against losing teams, or they've lost to some winning teams as well. But like recently, they've been weird. Lexie, can you make some sense as to what's going on with the Liberty?
It's the injuries. I mean, I think as simple as that. I think Sabrina has taken a lot of the pressure scoring wise. JJ's been in and out, and she's the type of player that she's like a rhythm player. She's a rhythm shooter. She's a rhythm scorer. And because she's a center, she has to depend a lot on her guards getting her the ball. So that's why I'm glad I'm not a post player, because having to depend on other people to get me the ball, even at the guard position, is frustrating. So I can't even imagine what it's like for a post. Acclimating a new player like Emma also takes time. But like you said, she's come in and made her mark early. But once they get healthy, I mean, I think they're going to be fine. Tosh Cloud, I think, as good as she started in the season, she kind of was in and out with injuries. And I think, again, she's a new player on a new team. And I think she spoiled the Liberty fans at the beginning with her energy and how seamless she seemed to fit in with that team. But then, the ups and downs of a season come along, and being a point guard, the ship goes with you. And she's new. She's new to this team. So they're just still trying to figure it out. But I'm not worried. The only thing I'm worried about them is them falling out of the top 4, which is possible. But obviously they're going to be a playoff team. And once they're healthy, they're going to be scary. So if they do happen to fall out of the top 4, that is not a team I want to see first round in the playoffs with them having a chip on their shoulder, not having home court advantage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I still have them as a tier 1 team. So hopefully they get it together, but they are not in second place anymore. No, they're not. The Atlanta Dream are 22-12 and now second in standings. They're 7-1 in their last 8 games. Ryan Howard is back. Alicia Gray has been being strong. BG coming off the bench some. Jordan Canada is out for at least 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. Lexie, the Dream.
I know. Shout out to the Dream. Because you know what? I think people forget that the Dream had been very solidified in the top of the league, in the early 2010s, Angel McCoughtry days. I remember being in high school, going to Eastern Conference Finals. That was back when they had conferences, guys. Eastern Conference Finals, watching Angel McCoughtry with the Dream. They've always been a really, really good organization. They just haven't been able to, finish the job with any championships. So, growing up in Atlanta, it is awesome seeing the Dream, having this type of season. Their games, even though they're in a small arena, they do be lit. They're packed. They're fun. I really do enjoy playing in Atlanta. We got to play them twice last week. So we gave them their 1 loss in the last 8 games, but we literally played them in Seattle. And then 2 days later, played them in Vancouver, which shout out to Vancouver. That game was so much fun. It was so fun. I did not play in either one of those games, but what I did get to do in Vancouver was they had Maybelline is their WNBA Toronto or WNBA Canada. It's one of their big sponsors. So they had this beauty suite set up in the hotel. So I got to go and get my makeup done and do some content with the WNBA Canada. And then I assumed I wasn't going to play that night. So I kept the makeup on during the game. So I got to look real beautiful, gorgeous during the game on the bench. You said if I'm going to
be sitting here, I'm going to sit pretty. Thank you.
What I'm saying is so funny. In the NBA, they have the guys that they say, oh, you not playing today. So just wear your regular clothes on the bench. Sometimes I wish that they had that conversation with me, because I would much rather be sitting there playing 0 minutes in a fit than in my damn jersey.
No,
y'all can at least let me know that,
no,
you're not
so
playing
you can stay
tonight.
ready.
Man, I'm like, all right, guys, it's been 4 games, please. But like you said, we're always staying ready. That's our job. We know. But it would be nice to just be cute on the bench instead of just sitting there.
You look cute in your uniform.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
I'll
much.
be seeing you.
Oh, thank you, girl. But yeah, back to Atlanta.
Your proof of basketball posts.
I know. I was like, let me go find some action pictures. But I had to search far and wide for those. But anyways, back to Atlanta. They look really good. Ryan looks back really healthy. Last time we played them, which was like over a month ago, she had a really big knee brace on. That's gone now. She's moving well. She's shooting the ball well. And then Leisha's just being herself. She's doing great. And then, we were able to steal a win against them, which was really great. It was down to the wire again versus the Dream. Thought that would be, kind of a momentum builder for us. But then we turned around and lost to Phoenix the other day. But I think, like I said last week, Coach of the Year could go to the Dream coach. He has them hitting on all cylinders. Nas being in the starting lineup has also been really good for them. Maya Caldwell stepping up while Jordan Canada is out. Pow coming in, giving them solid minutes. So they're a really well-rounded team, and they have a very underrated bench as well, led by Nas Hillman, who is now starting. But she's going to be 6th Woman of the Year. They're going to finish top 4. So shout out to the Dream. I know you're happy about that because you get to go.
I'm so happy.
Stunt. You get to go stunt at the playoffs. Throw some fits.
Oh my God. It's going to be legendary. Know that. But ain't no stunning if we're losing. So Dream lock in, because I hate when I pull out a fit and I'm at the game, especially in Atlanta, because those teams I actually care about. Like I'm a side sometimes Warriors fan, and that's like less serious to me. But in Atlanta, with our teams, if I'm at the game in a fit, I'm posting, I'm doing the most, and then we lose, it ruins the whole thing. So I need wins.
I would say the dream games feel like the club. Because
so
it's like
Hawks
it's
games,
small.
and so do the Falcons games.
It's a little dark in there. Like people are just in there chilling and vibing. Like it really gives club. And if you've ever been out in Atlanta, you'll know what I mean by that, because it feels like a club
Atlanta
in Atlanta.
is so lit. All of our teams are the Braves, the Falcons, the Dream, everybody. Like all of the games are insane. But the energy in Atlanta is so underrated when our teams are winning, because we don't get a lot of that.
Yeah, when y'all are winning, y'all do the most.
And when we're losing, the city is quiet. Yeah.
Wasn't that the Falcons were in the Super Bowl? Was that when the Falcons were in the Super Bowl?
Yep. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, because my mom was telling me, she's like, oh my God, like, can we, because we're Patriots fans, right? My mom was like, can they act like they...
that.
Yeah, Boston, girl, we were Patriots fans. So my mom was like, oh my God, everybody in Atlanta, like, can y'all act like y'all been here before? Mom, they haven't. They're not like us in New England. They don't understand. They don't understand.
We were up like 27-3, and Tom Brady and ruined my whole Super Bowl party. That was crazy.
And did. And
so I hope that this same thing doesn't happen with the Dream are number 2. And then I get my heart broken. I need momentum to continue and carry us through the playoffs.
I really do want to see new teams get to the semifinals. Like I obviously want the Lynx. I shouldn't say that because I'm still playing. I want us to get to the finals, but the Lynx getting to the finals seems very likely. But I would like to see another team get there too. I mean, honestly, if the Lynx don't get to the finals, I think that would be very spicy and fun for the W. We've seen it happen before. So this playoffs is going to be very interesting. How many more teams do you have in your tier 1?
Tier 1 is done.
Tier 1 is done.
We're only going to discuss tier 2 and tier 3 unless you have something really important to say about tier 4. I can assume you know who those teams are.
No, we can leave tier 4
because we're getting into
alone.
playoffs, so it's time.
Yeah.
And no need to beat a dead horse. But tier 2 are my potential contenders. Okay, tier 1 is like contenders. Tier 2 potential. We're starting with the Las Vegas Aces, who are 21-14. They have won 7 straight, which is their best stretch of the season in the time that they needed it most. Thank God. Jewel was moved to the bench July 27th, and the Aces have been 9-1 since. They have had some additions that have boosted their rebounding. Asia had the first ever 30-20 that we already discussed, 34 versus Dallas, and now her MVP case is heating up.
Sure is. Fee, man, I'm telling you, you got to hurry back, girl. Asia is on that ass. Actually, AT is on your ass, and then Asia's on AT's ass. But Fee, they coming for you. I think that people wanted to dismiss the Aces so early. And I thought that was very disrespectful from the fans, from people who watch the W. The fact that Asia Wilson and Chelsea Gray, who is arguably one of the best point guards to ever play, Jackie Young, who I will throw in the conversation as very underrated with Kelsey Mitchell. This is still your core. Then you have Jewel Lloyd, who is now your fourth option, who's been a number one option, number two option on multiple championship teams in Seattle. Why would you think that that team was just going to roll over and be like, you know what, we're just going to figure this out next year? Like I said, when you bring in a player like Jewel Lloyd, it's going to take some time to figure out where she's going to get her shots.
Okay, but to be fair, it was giving rollover for a minute there.
It wasn't.
It was giving.
Never was.
They had some games where, what was it? How many did they lose by? It was
50.
something crazy. Yep.
But that was to Minnesota. And that was clearly that loss gave them a kick in the ass because they have been a different team since. That 50-point loss at home was crazy. Like they was just having a bad day or something because I've never seen anything like that before. But I feel like the move of Jewel to the bench was the best thing that could have ever happened. Her minutes didn't really change. Like she's still playing the same amount of minutes, but she's getting her shots. When she comes in with the second unit, she's the priority on the floor. And that's what coaches do. They manipulate things to benefit the majority. Like they don't just pick and choose one or two players that they're like, okay, well, we're as long as these two, whatever, like nothing else is going to change because we got to make sure that these two are good or these three are good. Like I'm sure Jewel, she said that she volunteered to go to the bench, but I know like inside Jewel's like, damn, like I don't want to be coming off the bench. But like her season has turned around also. But yeah, they're 9-1 since she was moved to the bench and she's been playing much, much better coming off the bench with that second unit, being a priority as, you know, their spark off the bench. Kirsten Bell has filled in that starting role beautifully. You know, people were really, you know, getting on her early in the season as well, which I also thought was very weird. And she handled it with so much grace and class and just kept working and got her opportunity to be in the starting lineup. And they've been 9-1 since. So I'm really happy for KB. I think that, like I said, when the Aces are good, the league is in a better place and they can mess around and finish top 4 and get home court advantage. And if anybody knows anything about the Aces arena, that's a very hard place to win. So
yeah, I've been. It's
y'all
insane.
doubted them.
Lexie, I have a question. So if her minutes, Jules' minutes, have been pretty much the same since she was moved to the bench, 9-1 is a big jump. So I'm curious, just getting a new look to start the game, how is that? Is it because she's coming in with the second unit and she can be more of a priority with the second unit and like not have to play, I guess, Batman and Robin within Asia or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think just Asia, Chelsea, and Jackie have just such great chemistry already. And I think inserting Jewel kind of disrupted that a little bit because they are very selfless players. Like, you don't win championships if you don't have selfless players on your team. So I think they were going above and beyond to get Jewel acclimated, to get Jewel her shots. And then it was taking away from what they wanted to do. And at the end of the day, the heart and soul of that team is Asia. So I think that there had to be a conversation because Asia's been on a tear for the last 2 months. And Jewel coming off the bench, she's been on a tear coming off the bench. And they just seem like they just have better synergy now. And Jackie just has been doing Jackie things. Like, she's had 25-point games, very quiet, but that's like her personality, quiet assassin. So, and Chelsea, head of the snake, being the point guard that she is. So I think that not many coaches would have done that. Put a player like Jewel on the bench. Even if she asked to go to the bench, I think some coaches would have been like, no. Like, you're Jewel Lloyd. You're going to stay in the starting lineup. But Becky was like, you know what? Cool. Let's see what this looks like. And even when they started winning, like, she just kept her there. Like, it wasn't like an experiment. Like, I felt like when it first happened, people thought maybe she was being punished because she wasn't performing like people expected her to, or it was just going to be for a game or two. But no, this seemed to be like a very strategic move by the Aces, and it's worked. 9-1 ever since. So watch out. They're peaking at the perfect time, which is right before playoffs. So yeah.
The other teams I want to discuss in tier 2 are obviously the Mercury. You spoke about them a little bit and you played them, but they're 4-2 in their last 6. Their defense is back to elite form. They're second in defensive rating. AT continues to have this triple-double dominance, 20 career, most all time. And they lost the season series to Atlanta, which dropped them to number 5 in the rankings, which is crazy that something so... That's why every game matters. But Lexie, what's going on in Phoenix?
So yeah, we just played Phoenix. We just lost to them. They just go as AT goes. AT is literally their point guard. Their starting point guard for the majority of the season was out our game. So AT pretty much ran the point guard position for most of the game. And yeah, she got another triple-double, her 5th this season. And she has the most triple doubles in league history at 20. Guess what the next highest is? Just guess.
15?
One more guess.
Wait, it's lower than that?
Much lower, yeah.
10?
4. 4. And it's Sabrina Ionescu has 4. So
and she like AT still has time.
AT has many years left. And it's so funny. I saw a post.
4. I'm gagged.
20 triple doubles is crazy. And we're not even going to talk about the NBA, but like every time I bring up triple doubles, I always talk about Russell Westbrook because what he did for all those seasons is outrageous. But okay. AT with her 20 triple doubles. Somebody posted a video of her playing at Maryland because if you guys didn't know, she has 2 torn labrums, which is in her shoulders, which is why she kind of has that like funky shot, which actually watching yesterday, her shooting form is like kind of back to normal now. So I don't know if like she has just internalized all of the pain that she has felt in her shoulders and is just like, F it, I'm gonna shoot normal again, or like they're feeling better. But I was watching her shoot free throws the other day and she kind of like has like a regular shooting form now, which could be very dangerous and terrifying to the entire league if AT gets a like regular jump shot going, which she has been shooting the ball very efficiently this season. People put up the highlights of her at UMD before she had the shoulder things. And I'm like, I was her teammate my freshman year when she was a senior. Like, she's been playing like this forever. And people have just continuously just overlooked her as a player, as a defender, as a passer, as a rebounder. So it is nice seeing her finally get some recognition in her flowers. I think that she is currently right behind Fee in the MVP race. She's top 15 in scoring, second in rebounding, first in assists, and she has the highest assist total since 2020, which was Courtney Vandersloot. But that was a 20-game season because of COVID. So the next highest was the year before in 2019, which was also Sloot, which was 9.1. And AT is at like 9.1 right now. If AT is able to get that assist number to 10, and she finishes the season averaging like, 16, 10, and 10 right now, I don't see how you don't give her the MVP. I'm sorry. Like, a triple-double, that has never happened before. Your team is top 4 in the league right now. Like, you're head of the snake of the top defense.
I feel like this year the voting is going to be very sticky.
It's going to
I feel like
be
all the voters are going to have
interesting.
different ways of approaching it.
Because now Asia's only a point under Fee in scoring. She's out rebounding Fee. She has more steals than Fee. They have the same number of assists. So if Asia overtakes Fee in scoring, then that's going to be very sticky for those two. But if AT finishes the season with a triple-double and they finish top 4, I think Phoenix is going to have to finish top 4 for her to like really, really have a really good chance. If they mess around and finish top 2, I think that you have to give her like a really legitimate chance of winning MVP. And then the only thing about Asia is that we've seen her MVP type numbers. Like we've seen it. So as amazing as she is playing right now, it's still not the MVP numbers that we have seen her previously. So that's where it gets sticky for me as someone who's looking at MVP. Feel the same way about All-Star. You create a baseline for yourself. And that's what happens when you're great. You create a baseline for yourself. You got to exceed it or match it to be considered for the same things.
I believe we discussed this last week. She's getting the, not to bring up the WNBA again, but the Jokic treatment of, I mean, you always do this.
Exactly.
Are we supposed to award what you always do?
Exactly. And that's the price of being great, unfortunately. But this, I had my MVP people. I think Kelsey and Leash deserve conversation still, but I think it's a 3-person race right now.
Speaking of Kelsey Mitchell, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the Indiana Fever. Injuries everywhere. Caitlin Clark still out. McDonald, Coulson done for the year. Sophie Cunningham has an MRI pending. Before we get into Kelsey Mitchell and the insane things she's done that I'm going to describe to you guys in just a minute, I wanted to ask Lexie about, because there have been a lot of talk surrounding Sophie Cunningham and her injury and regarding officiating. And as well as Sophie has a podcast now where she discussed their game against Paige Beckers, which I watched, and saying that Paige got a lot of calls and whatnot. I'm curious from your perspective, because I talked about this on my TikTok about WNBA officiating and how WNBA officiating is a little unique in the sense that in the NBA, I believe, and in the MLB or the NFL, I think it might be all 3, but regardless, the refs are only allowed to ref those games. Whereas in the WNBA and in a lot of college sports, they're allowed to ref college and different types of basketball. And that can be a bit much for a referee.
Rules are different.
And so there is some validity to what she's saying, but also I know that when it comes to refs are human. So any ref is going to make a mistake. Lexie, as a player in the W, what's your view on this ref situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you made the best point. The fact that they can bounce between W and college can be a bit problematic at times because there are so many different rules in the WNBA versus college. I don't know if you guys saw, I think it was Tina Charles. I forgot whose podcast she was on, but she basically said that all the players now are like really soft and they would not even be able to stand a chance in a few years ago with the physicality of the league, which I kind of agree with. I'm not calling anybody soft because if y'all see me play, I do not like contact. That's why I don't go to the lane often, because it is an extremely physical game. Our league is extremely physical. My biggest issue last season was the freedom of movement. And I think Caitlin Clark brought a lot of attention to that because of how aggressive players were with her off the ball. But I feel like every elite shooter and guard gets that same type of physicality. But I think she just brought it to the forefront, which I thought was great, because for me, I was like, yeah, because it bothers me like when players are able to like grab you and lean on you and prevent you from moving freely. I think this season, the injuries have been very tough on everybody. They've been really sad. Again, I feel like the league has always been physical. I think that's more attributed to the frequency of games, the traveling, the heavy minutes that a lot of these players are playing. So for me personally, I need all the help I can get from the referees, so I'm not going to shit on them so freely. But I do think that there's like a few nuances in our game that like the refs don't always get it right. Like transition take fouls and the law of verticality and offensive fouls and illegal screens. But I think like that's in the NBA as well. A lot of those calls are like judgment calls. And like you said, they're human. They're not always going to get it right. But it has been like crazy, especially watching our team. Like we don't get any foul calls, like none actually. So as watching my teammates who, you know, we have a very point or paints in the point type of team. So we're always in the lane. We're always trying to get layups and we're always just getting like bumped and hit and whatever. And we have really elite finishers on our team. But sometimes like they are getting hit and they are getting fouled, but because you expect them to make those shots, they don't always get the calls. But then people are like, okay, well, do I need to fall down? Well, no, because that's how injuries happen when you don't have good body control. So it's a give and take, you know, with the refs. I would never want to be a ref. So, I mean, I always have a lot of respect for referees because they do like deal with a lot of nonsense from us as players, from fans, from the coaches. Like, I don't have the patience for that job. Like, I don't know how they do it. That's why I try to be as nice to them as I can, even when I'm frustrated. But sometimes they're rude. They are rude sometimes. But I'm like, okay, you just got cussed out 10 minutes ago by that player. So I'm sure you're like, I don't want to hear anything from y'all anymore. But there's been a microscope on the refs this year. And every year before the season starts, we have this big meeting with the head of refs and they tell us the points of emphasis and the things that they're focusing on. And it's always so funny because the things that they show us are not the thing, like it doesn't ever match. We're like, didn't y'all say that y'all were paying attention to this year? And then y'all never do. So I hope I don't get fined for anything I just said. But if I do, oh well, like whatever it is, it's what I see. Thanks. Thank you.
Also, you love to talk about who Lexie always calls the most underrated player in the league, Kelsey Mitchell, who is carrying the Fever through this broken period. And by broken, I don't mean that by shade. I mean like literally bodies broken. 38-point game with 34 in the second half to lead the largest comeback in franchise history. Mm-hmm. Lexie, your reaction to all this?
I mean, I don't have a reaction because y'all, I'm like her biggest fan and she knows that too. We've played each other since college. She came and played at AU and we got drafted together. Did we get drafted together? I think so. I don't remember. If it wasn't the same year, it was 1 year apart, but that's my girl. So even seeing everybody so hyped for her on the interwebs the other day, I was like, finally, guys. Finally, she's getting this recognition she deserves. And I think that game, you know, even though it was against Connecticut, like we said earlier, everybody's like in a must-win situation. Like that was a huge win for them because especially against teams like Connecticut and the Dallases and the Chicagos, like they have nothing. They're not playing for anything anymore. Like they're playing for, you know, to get ready for next season, to tweak some things. Like, and when I say they're not playing for anything, like they're not in playoff contention. Like that doesn't mean like they're less important or whatever. Like they're just right. So those wins are the ones you have to win because them losing more games or winning more games is not going to affect your position, but you winning that game is going to affect your position. So for her to like put the team on her back like that on the road in overtime, like that was like vintage Kelsey Mitchell right there. And I shouldn't even say vintage because like she ain't going nowhere. Like she's been like that. Yeah. So what place are they in? They're in 5th place, 6th place?
Mm-hmm. I think 6th now.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're 19 and 16.
19 and 16. So, I mean, praying for Sophie, hope that it's nothing serious for her sake and for the Fever's sake.
And for the Fever, yeah.
Like how... Also, I do want to give a real quick shout out to my girl, Kyra Lambert, who just was signed to a hardship contract. She was my teammate at Duke and went through some very brutal knee injuries and has been killing it overseas for the last few years. And this is her first opportunity in the W. And I was so happy when I saw that post on Instagram. And so shout out to my girl, Kyra. She was my point guard at Duke, my little freshie.
Shout out.
Yeah. So seeing her overcome her knee injuries and playing overseas and staying the course and being ready when her number was called, like, that's amazing. So shout out to my little Dookie, Kyra, for the Fever. So make sure y'all show her some love. I don't know if she's still on the team or not, but she was on the team last week. So I'm sure she'll stick around if Sophie does end up being hurt. But prayers up to the Fever. Like, they need some good juju over there, because
Good juju.
they've been going through it. So let's send some positivity to the Fever, and shout out to my girl Kelsey Mitchell.
Moving on to tier 3. These are the teams that are in the mix, okay? And I'm going to kind of speed through the first 3 unless you have like a call out for them, because like we've talked about them and like nothing's really changed. But the Golden State Valkyries, 18-16. Their 18 wins are the most ever for an expansion team in year 1. They're 8-4 since the All-Star break, despite losing Kayla. They're still playing with a chip on their shoulder, not just happy to be here, okay? And then we got the Sparks that are 16-18, 3-3 in their last 6. They kind of cooled things after their post-All-Star break run. They're half a game behind Seattle, but have a series lead. And then we've got Washington, 16-18 as well. Their rookie duo, Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen, are thriving post-Sykes trade. And moving on to the Storm, on the other end of that, which Lexie is going to give us our full Storm update, but a little up and down since the All-Star break. Losing streak was snapped, okay? But like you said, a little bit of a momentum killer with Phoenix. And then since the Brittany Sykes trade, just looking for a little bit of a, check in how that's going. And y'all are in a little bit of danger, okay, after being in the top 6 for most of the season. So Lexie, what's happening?
Yeah. I think that, again, like, it's just an identity crisis. We lead the league in points, I'm pretty sure. But we still are not shooting a lot of outside shots. We're still in the bottom of the league in rebounding, defensive and offensive. Sykes has been a great addition. Like, she's just offensive firepower, defensive. She's amazing. Her IQ is very high on both sides of the ball. So it's just adding a player, an all-star this late in the season. Like, there's going to be ups and downs when you do that. Like I said before, like, I'm not even like in the rotation at all anymore, which, for me, it's like disappointing. Like, this whole season in general for me has been very disappointing. And then for us to be in this position that we're in, and I just feel like, I think I could have helped a little bit. But, here we are, Q4, like, nothing is going to change like dramatically. Like, that's like not a realistic thing to feel as a player, as a pro. So, I'm just showing up, to do my job at this point, and just being the best teammate I can be, staying locked in, knowing all the plays, knowing the scouting reports. I think that's something that just continues to keep me engaged. This next stretch of games, we're on the road for the next 5, all very winnable games for us. And like, they're must win games at this point. So we have the Sky tonight, we have Dallas, the Mystics, the Fever, and then we finish in Minnesota. And even Minnesota, I mean, we're one of the teams that were able to, steal one from them. I think that we have to at least win like 3 or 4 of these next 5 games on the road. And we have not been very good at home either. Like, it's just been, again, inconsistency. That has just kind of been the word of the year for our team. But you just have to make it to the playoffs and just start getting your shit together at the right time. And then everything can change for you. When I won in Chicago, we finished in 6th place and ended up winning the championship. So getting to the playoffs is the battle, is the hard part. I don't think anybody expected us to be in this position. But it's okay. because we're not out of the playoffs. We are still very much in the playoffs. But if we do have like a tie situation with the Sparks, we will lose that because we lost the series with the Sparks. And we lost our series with the Mystics as well. So we kind of have to pull away because if we get into any type of tiebreaker situation with the Sparks or the Mystics, we will lose the tiebreaker. And that's not a position you want to be in, is not being in control of your own destiny. So these next 5 games are I say it every week. This game is pivotal. This game is important. Like that, it's been like that the entire season. So it's been a very up and down. Oh, but positive news, we brought Zaya back. So I was very happy about that. We signed her for the rest of the season. So I got one of my girls back. So that actually made like me super happy when they told us that they had signed Zaya to come back for the rest of the season, because that was a really hard moment for her. And I think she deserves to be on this roster, because she put a lot of the work in starting from, even before training camp, she was in Seattle. So positive, Zaya, another positive, the way Dom is playing has been unbelievable. So we need good vibes too. Shit. I was trying to send the vibes to the other team. Send some to us.
You're like,
too.
Let me hold these vibes.
Let me hold a little bit of these positive vibes over here. But the hunt for 1,000 points is still going strong, guys. Now I don't want to put pressure on myself I wish I didn't look. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish I didn't look and see that, because now I'm like, I have to get these 11 points. But
it's not your fault.
No, it's not. Last time we were in Chicago, I did score 12 points. So, but the Chicago team is very different than the Chicago team we played a month ago. Like, Ariel Atkins wasn't playing. Michaela wasn't playing. Angel wasn't playing. They have a new point guard, Sevgi. So, like, we can like throw that whole game away, because this is not the same team that we played a month ago. So I'm hoping that we come in ready and punch them in the mouth, because the faster they punch them in the mouth, the better chances that I get to play are,
Amen.
So
Amen.
yeah, like I want us to win, but I also want us to get some leads so we can go get some run, because I haven't played in like 2 weeks. So,
well, Lexie, yeah. I'm hoping that happens for you tonight. You're in Chicago right now tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. Okay. We're praying, y'all. Whole full circle family behind you. Last thing I want to ask you about before we dip up out of here is obviously a little CBA check-in, because the rumor mill is spinning. People are saying that y'all were offered this hella money that's like 10xing what the minimum is now. And you guys said it was a slap in the face, said no. And people are throwing numbers out there. I don't know where they're getting these numbers from or the validity to them, which is why I'm asking a WNBA player and somebody who is involved in these meetings and conversations myself. Yeah. Straight to the horse's mouth. So,
yeah.
Lexie.
No, I mean, what the people are reporting is technically true. Like, yeah, they are offering 10x minimum salary. Like they are offering a lot of money. But what a lot of people are still failing to comprehend is the pie, okay? We still want a bigger slice of the pie, okay? So the current CBA, they have salary cap increases already in place. There's like revenue markers that you have to hit to like activate more money, and like all of these, stipulations and restrictions on how to activate more money for the players. When all we want is just a bigger percentage of the money that the league is making, that the teams are making. So yes, would it be nice to agree to those salaries that are much higher than the ones that we have now? Yes, but like we're going to go 5 years down the line, we're going to find ourselves in the same exact situation that we're in right now, seeing the league continuing to grow, make more money, adding more teams. And now the pie that used to be a little pie is a huge pie, but we're still getting the same tiny slice that we had when there was a small pie, instead of our slices increasing as the pie gets bigger. So that's the drama with the CBA, guys. It's not the slap in the face, is not the money. Like, we are so blessed and grateful to be able to play professional basketball for a living. I don't want anybody to ever think that this league is full of players that are ungrateful and sticking their nose up at 400, 500K minimum salaries and things like that. That's the point. They're trying to confuse people and get people to question what we're doing as the players and the Players Association. But yeah, it's a good start. Like, that's a good start, but we're going to find ourselves in the same situation in 5 years when the league continues to grow and we're still like not feeling like we're getting an equal share of the pie. So that's what that slap in the face is them basically being like, okay, we hear you and we're going to ignore you, but here's more money, but we know what we asked for. We know what we want. So hopefully we can, there's been no other conversations about anything else other than salaries. And that's a little frustrating because we're in August now. So there's so many things to be addressed in the CBA, and the fact that we're like still stuck on salaries is like, it's tough because there's so many things in a CBA.
So to make sure that we're understanding what you're saying, basically, obviously the number that was being reported is correct. It is a lot like more money. However,
accurate-ish.
It's accurate-ish.
Yeah.
It's correct that it was a larger number. However, the issue isn't the number and the salary, that you guys are grateful for the money and the opportunity and the salary. The issue is you guys aren't asking for a dollar figure. You're asking for a certain percentage point of the piece of the pie, and that percentage point is reflected so long as the league grows, so that you're not stuck with this number that you agree to now. But if that changes in a couple of years, you're back right here having the same conversation.
Correct. Exactly. It feels like it's simple, but you start throwing big numbers out and, people start saying like, well, why would you not accept that? But really, like, no, it's not about it is about the money, but it's a little deeper than that. So I did see that post, and the way they but like the caption was long. The caption I couldn't tell if they were being like snarky or not. Like, I forgot what page wrote it, but like I couldn't tell if they were like genuine about it or not. I couldn't tell, but like
all of it felt snarky to me personally.
Yeah, I'm like.
I'm speaking like I'm in the W, but it smelled snarky to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I read the caption and I was like, okay, well, they got the facts right, but like the way they worded it, the way it was delivered was kind of odd to me. So
it was delivered like you guys were scoffing at the idea of making 10X, and it's not about the number again, and it's also about setting yourselves up for the future and not just jumping for joy at the first number you're presented. But that's also how a negotiation works. Like, obviously, if you're being offered that number that feels like, oh my God, it's so much bigger, they should just agree, that means that there's something further going on to where they're trying to get you to grasp that number.
Exactly.
And you guys aren't dumb.
Exactly. And it's just like, there's going to be more teams. There's going to be more games. The season could be longer. Like, there's just so many. There's like, we haven't even touched on that.
Oh my gosh,
player health
breaking
and
news.
safety. What?
I just got a notification. This is reported by Bleacher Report. Sophie Cunningham is out for the season with a knee injury.
Oh no. Yo, there's a curse on the Indiana Fever right now. That's really sad. That's really sad. So
I am
how
looking
many
into it to
is
see
that?
if I can see more detail. Okay, so the Indiana Fever have dealt with injury concerns throughout the season. They were dealt with another blow on Tuesday. Indiana has announced that guard Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the 2025 campaign with a right knee injury that she suffered during Sunday's contest against the Connecticut Sun. They didn't say the exact injury, but
I mean, it has to be serious. They said the whole season or regular season? The remainder of the season?
WNBA season.
Oh my goodness. So what is that?
2025.
Caitlin, Sydney, Sophie, Ari. That's 4 players? 4 players.
Yeah.
DB left, 5. Man, that's really bad. That's not good. Well, prayers out to Sophie, because you hate to see anybody go down, especially with a knee injury, which has been plaguing women's basketball for years and years and years. Oh, I hate that. I don't want to end the show like that, but
I know, but I had to say it since we were here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. It was
This was a fun episode.
It was a little all over the place, but it was really fun. If you guys get a chance, send some positive and healing vibes across the entire league, please, as we finish these last 9 to 10 games and head into playoffs. And thank you for tuning in. We will see y'all next week for another episode of Full Circle. Bye.
Bye.